Cheers.
There we go.
Welcome in. This is Sore Points and Strong Drinks, or SPSD, as we like to put it. The podcast where healthcare, physical therapy, and good times collide. I'm Dr. Jordan Wright, alongside my co-host, Dr. Kitrick Russell. We're here to tackle the myths, misconceptions, and everything that swirls around the world of health, wellness, fitness, and physical therapy. But we're not just going to talk about treatments and exercises, right?
We are not.
We're going to touch on some really great things. We're going to talk about things that we enjoy, bourbon, swapping some good old barbecue stories, talking about sports, all the things we love and hate, and then throwing in a few good laughs along the way. So join us, laugh in with us. We're just a couple of healthcare professionals, sports fans, and people that like a good amount of bourbon with a good side of knowledge. It's a podcast for everybody. We want this to be something that everybody can enjoy, everybody can have a good time with, and sit back, relax. Let's break down some sore points and sip on some strong drinks.
Let's do it.
Sound good?
Sounds like a good plan.
Every episode, we're going to start off with a bottle of bourbon. Hopefully, trying to hit a little bit of some local places, but then also chime in on some of our favorites and stumble upon some things we like and maybe share with some of you guys some of the things we like. Today's bottle is going to be Old Raleigh, so it's a spot out here. Nice drink, good flavors.
Yeah.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, not too bad.
Smooth. Comes right
Very
into
smooth.
the nose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
It's not terrible.
Little kick to the end.
Yeah.
Overall, good flavor.
It's got a nice finish. It's a very oaky finish.
Yeah, very oaky.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it is. I don't need to know, but it's still really good.
Well, and so this kind of comes to something that you and I have talked about plenty of times, is how much do you spend on bourbon?
I guess, it just kind of depends on the day, depends on the occasion, right? It depends on, if I'm just, it's just a Friday night like tonight is, are we, just having cocktails, or are we just having sippers like we are now? It just kind of depends on the occasion. So, for a cocktail, I'll go $20 to $30, something that's still a good taste, but not, so overpriced that we're going to ruin the flavor if we mix it with something. But
see, this is and this is something that drives me crazy about the South. As I want to be able to go to the grocery store and buy liquor.
Yes,
I can't stand that I can't buy liquor. And for both of us being from the Midwest, you used to be able to walk into a Meijer, which
or a Hy-Vee from where I'm from.
A what?
A Hy-Vee grocery.
Oh,
I worked there for about 5 years. They've always had beer.
Oh, you were a grocery
bourbon.
store guy?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, 5 years.
Okay. No,
That's how I paid off my wife's engagement ring.
Oh, okay.
So, part of it.
All right. I
Still
see how it is.
expensive. But...
We'll get into that later. But, I want to be able to go in a grocery store because going to the liquor store it's a chore for me. I don't get excited about it. I know you do.
I do, yes.
I don't get excited about it because, A, you got the guy standing up front with the gun. I don't love that.
I didn't know about that.
I don't know that.
We talked about that earlier.
I don't love that.
No
I
idea.
know why he's doing it. I just don't love it.
Yeah.
But then B, I feel like I'm in this confined area. It's all seriousness. There's no la-di-da, hang around, look around.
A little bit.
I feel like I got to get in the liquor store and get out. Even the people at the register, next. There is no joking, having a good time. There's all very straight, narrow, and serious.
I guess since I don't go very often, I'm excited to go there and be like, oh, what do they have in here right now? What's today's special? It's like, I don't go and buy $300 bottles of bourbon every time I go, but I mean, it's just interesting to see what they have and what the prices are, because the prices do change, right?
They do. I mean, they run specials.
Yeah, Maker's Mark could be $45 one day, but then $30 another. It just depends.
I guess I kind of see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, so who are we, right?
Yeah.
We're two doctors of physical therapy. Two guys that we work together. We work for a company called Best Physical Therapy. Kind of a more of a holistic approach to healthcare, in a way that we try to have all of the options in at one angle. So like our company, for example, we've got physical therapy, chiropractors, concierge medicine, registered dietitians, mental health counselors.
And that's grown a lot in just a year, and it's only growing more.
Correct, because it's a very local company.
Yes.
But, we're two guys that just really love what we do.
Right.
We're really passionate about it. We really enjoy physical therapy. We enjoy the aspects of healthcare that we have gotten ourselves into. But I think what kind of brought us to this point was so many of our patients and so many people that walk into the clinic are always like, I have no idea what physical therapy is. I have no idea a lot about the healthcare field.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of, that pisses me off in a lot of ways, because the healthcare field is such a huge part of our day-to-day lives.
It is. I mean, it's one of the leading drivers of inflation nowadays. And, some people don't know that, but it really is. And
it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Insurance is a multi-billion, pharma is a multi-million. I mean, there's so much money involved around healthcare, and we know so little about it. And so that, so many people come through our clinic, and for those of, people that don't know about our clinic, we're located in a gym, and it's, some people come by and they're like, hey, what do you guys do here? What do you, what kind, I see physical therapy. What does that mean? Do I need a referral? And so it's just, we get upset about people who don't know what we do, and we want to teach people what we do, because it's going to impact so many lives the more people that we teach on it, the more people we educate.
I mean, it's not just the people in the gym though, right? Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
I've told you this before. I've been in the PT world about 10 years, right? Just in different aspects of it. And I have family members that call me and are like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Like, what is it that
what should I do?
But it's not even that. They're not even necessarily asking for help. They're just like, what do you do?
Yeah.
And it's like, I've run a clinic for 4 years, and some of my closest family members have no clue what I do.
Same. Yeah.
And that's frustrating, right? Or we get this kind of like, just this concern about, oh, well, I've been to a physical therapist before and they do this, or what's the difference between you guys and a chiropractor, right? And we've talked about an episode on that, like, chiropractors. Do we love them? Do we hate them? Do they love us?
What's your opinion? What, should we go there? Should we go there first? Should we go to you after? Well, what do we do?
And that'll be something we talk about down the line, but I think that's a really good point. And I mean, I get tired of the myths and the misconceptions and the lies and the things in the healthcare field that are basically just glossed over, and not talked about.
Exactly.
So, and I mean, you have, God, what, we're talking 4 or 5 years in the physical therapy world?
Almost 4 clinically, and then if you count student time, if you count, me as a radiology transporter, a physical therapy tech, I've spent a lot of time in it. My family has a bunch of a background in it. My uncle was a ER physician. My cousin's a hospitalist. My other cousin used to be an X-ray.
What is a hospitalist?
Exactly. I mean, it's one of the main people that are in charge of your care at a hospital, right? Like, nobody knows that term. They just say, that's my doctor in the hospital.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different terms, and that would be a whole other episode right there. We didn't even put that on the list, but there's so many things that we can educate people on in this podcast. And the more that I've gotten into the field, the more I get upset about people and the way the system is designed for people not to know about this stuff.
Correct. Yeah.
And that's one of the main reasons why we're driven to do this.
Yeah.
We want to have fun with it. Yeah. We have so many conversations in the clinic of, to patients, to ourselves about, why don't people know more? And we got to do a better job from our field and from our vantage point to make people know more.
I mean, we also have questions on whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie or not.
Oh God, that's a whole other episode.
It's not.
It is. It's a whole other episode.
Die Hard. We're gonna put this to bed.
No,
right now. Maybe another episode. Maybe another 5. No. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
It is.
It's not.
My uncle has a shirt on it.
No, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. It is not. It's not.
It is.
Anyway,
we'll talk about it.
I mean, so you've kind of been in and out of hospitals in terms of starting your career. You did a little bit of home health, which that's something we can tackle down the line.
I've done neuro outpatient. I've done vestibular. I've done orthopedic outpatient in addition to what we do now. I mean, I've seen a lot of different settings and a lot of different varieties of the way healthcare is presented in those settings, and everything is different. Every place that you go, no matter what, I mean, every physical therapy clinic is different. It's just what catches people. Yeah. And that's something that we can describe about what our clinic does and what our company does a little bit more down the line, maybe. But What were you about to
And
say?
we could talk. I mean, we can go into depth about what some of that looks like. But
Yeah.
I mean, it all is different, and
It is.
to a lot, your average person, that just sounds like a bunch of words that you just said with no real clear
Yeah,
understanding.
no, I know,
of it.
but the more we get into,
like
some
what
of
the hell is
episodes-
vestibular? Ah.
Oh, I know. That's it. Yeah, that's. I mean,
But I mean, you also touched. So I started with athletes. USA men's basketball team, Carolina Hurricanes. Shifted gears to the prison system, which had its own world.
Another episode.
Lots to talk about.
So
right? There's
so much
just
to talk about.
much to get into, but and then I kind of decided I want to run a clinic and be in that kind of outpatient world that very interconnected with the day-to-day lives of everybody. And that's really been a really cool breaking point. And I've been in the corporate ladder, and then I've been in the local ladder, and let me tell you, the local ladder is much nicer. But I've been in all of the settings, and there's a lot, and every day you learn something new. And I think one of the beautiful parts about what we do is that we're humbled every single day.
Every day,
right?
We're changing somebody's life every day, and we're always, surprised about what we can learn from patients, ourselves, everything. Our setting is very special, and it's unlike anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. So why are we drinking bourbon, man?
Why?
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, bourbon.
Well, I guess that's an answer.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's always an answer. But I mean, bourbon is, I don't know, it's a sipper. It's something casual on a Friday night.
I just don't like that word. I'm not a fan of that word.
What, sipper?
Sipper. I don't know.
Sipper.
In my brain, that's a negative connotation. I don't know.
Oh, it's good. I mean,
I don't know. Just don't love that
it's something
word.
to sip on. It's like, I'm not going to drink this. This is not meant to be taken as a shot. Like,
Well,
I'm not,
well, of course not.
No.
I mean, and there's a lot of different flavors and different things that you can get from it. And it's
Right.
cool, all the different types and everything. I will say that, I was ran across this the other day, and I thought it was funny that, when you hit your 30s, there's one of three things that you get into as a man. Yeah. It's history, smoking meat, or bourbon.
all three of those currently.
Yeah, you definitely get a little bit more into the history.
Yeah,
like you like
the
a lot of the
history,
military things and things like that.
A lot of American history.
Obviously support our troops and everything of that nature. But I definitely am more into the smoky meat and the bourbon side of things. But I really like the ability to sit here, have something that is smooth, classy, and then still gives you a good feel of, this is quality.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
and that's kind of how I feel about the old Raleigh, is that it just kind of feels like quality.
Absolutely.
Which is cool that this is, made here in North Carolina. So I do appreciate that.
Absolutely. But no, it's a good thing to have on a little podcast like this. Just kind of sit here and just talk about stuff. It's like, we're not here to get, really drunk and talk about, stuff and get angry about it. We're just here to have a good conversation about, the important things that matter in life, including history and barbecue and smoking meat and all those things.
I mean, we are going to piss people off.
But we are, yeah.
We're going to say some stuff that's going to piss some people off. There's no doubt about that.
But that's also the point of it, too. Like, we want to bring these things out and have conversations about it and get talking about it more, because we can't live in this healthcare system too much longer without, all chaos going.
Yeah.
Can't.
This is definitively a no holds barred podcast. Yeah. We need to break down the barriers, because every person that walks into our clinic should understand things like their insurance.
Yes.
Should understand things like imaging.
I can't wait for that.
How many times a week do we get asked, how are you different than a chiropractor?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. How many times a week do we get asked, what's dry needling?
Yeah.
Right? We get
What's
asked
cupping?
all these things. What's cupping?
Yeah.
Can I use a massage gun?
Yeah, so many of those.
Things like what's arthritis?
Yeah, my doctor says I have arthritis. Is this going to be impacting my life or not?
Well, and I think the thing that grinds my gears the most, the thing that I try to make a passion project of mine is, and I've done a lot of, Zoom presentations, meetings, outreach, things of that nature. And one of the things I always lead off with is, you don't have to live the rest of your life in pain.
No.
And we see that so much. People come in all the time, and they're like, oh, well, my doctor said I have arthritis, so I'm going to have pain for the rest of my life. False.
No.
My doctor said I have scoliosis, so I'm going to have pain for the rest of my life. False. My doctor said that I've got diabetes and nerve pain, so I'm just stuck like this. False. My doctor blamed it on disc dysfunction. He said I have a ruptured disc, a slipped disc, a bad disc. I've lost all disc height.
Take this
I'm going to be in pain for the rest of my life.
Take this medication, you're going to be fine.
False.
No.
You won't be fine. You'll never be fine.
No.
So, I I want to break down those walls. I want to break down those barriers because people deserve to understand that they can live their life without pain.
Absolutely.
Now, that being said, we're also going to have the tough conversations on the side of the people, right? Because one of the things I say all the time is if something's hard, people won't do it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the two things that drive, human behavior are, can I do it? And is it worth it?
And what do I get out of it?
Exactly. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Exactly. And if those two don't match up, they're not going to do it. Yeah. And so if we can educate people on, yes, you can get healthier. Yes, you can move better. Can we then introduce whether it's worth it to them or not?
Well, I think a lot of people struggle with physical therapy because it is an active treatment.
It is.
Right?
Absolutely. You can't just sit there.
I make this comment all the time when people come into PT and they're like, Jordan, this exercise is hard. And I look at them very dumbfounded and I'm like, did you think it was going to be easy? And if so, where did that come from? Or I actually have to focus on this.
Well, that's where that misconception from physical therapy comes into play, right?
Well, and again, it's not people's fault, right?
No.
Because who teaches you about the body? YouTube?
Supposedly you're your PE teacher in sixth grade.
In sixth grade.
Yeah, in sixth grade.
What was sixth grade? 30 years ago?
Yeah.
25?
Yeah, a lot, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, right? Like, nobody teaches you about the body.
No.
But we all go to the gym. We all work out. So where do we learn that information from? Who's teaching us what to do and how to do it?
Instagram, YouTube,
there it is.
Other things that
right there.
I mean, there's so many things out there on the internet nowadays on, what exercise should I do for shoulder health? What should I do for back health? And some of them are good, some of them are bad.
But none of them really give you the why.
Yes,
They
exactly.
don't give you the why, because what you should be able to do is you should be able to look at that video and say, okay, that's great. If I have something similar to that, I could also do this.
Yes.
And you should be able to understand why.
Exactly. I mean,
right?
you and I do a great job. I mean, we can always do better jobs at everything that we do, but I feel like we do a pretty good job at this point in our careers of educating patients on the why, on why this is actually happening to their bodies, what they can do about it, and that there's actually hope for them in the future and not just living with pain every single day.
Well, and it's crazy too, right? Because if you think about it this way, if you start a new job, you learn everything you need to know about that job. You
should.
Theoretically.
Other than learning it yourself.
Facts, there are some people out there. We're not going to talk about them people, but there are some people out there.
Unfortunately.
But you do everything you can to learn about that job.
Yeah.
Or to be the best you can. You take up something you like. Some people like to knit. Some people, like to do D&D. Some people like to do this. They like to do, social media and all this stuff.
Gaming.
Gaming.
Everybody has a skill of something.
And they try to become the best they can at it.
Right.
Why do we not do that with our bodies?
Why don't we take care of the home body first, right?
Like, why do we not become masters of our own body? We got to live with it for 70, 80 years. That's going to translate far and beyond past any skill you ever decide to pick up. So why do we not know more about it? And why do we sit here and when something goes wrong, we just go, I don't know. Let me go talk to the doctor who, and oftentimes, because I do this, right? I don't have a primary care doc.
Yeah.
Which I know is a wild statement as someone who's in the healthcare field.
Yeah.
But I've not found one that I feel great with.
Sure.
Because I see them, I make an initial appointment, which we're going to get into this later, but I make an initial appointment with them. They bring me into the office. They see me for 5 minutes. And then they say, but the thing that I came there for, I don't get.
Yeah.
And then they say, come back in 6 weeks and we can talk about the thing you came here for.
Yep.
And you know why they do that? It's a copay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's my copay, right back in the pocket. And now to be fair, I don't necessarily blame the doctors because they're also struggling with the insurance side of things.
Yes, they are.
But in a sense, I also do blame them because we're struggling too, and we're deciding to be different.
And it's
a choice,
right? It's a choice, and there's just like physical therapists. There are good physical therapists. There are bad physical therapists. There are good physicians, bad physicians. I mean, that's why you get the option to choose where you want to go, and that's the brilliance of the current healthcare system. Yeah. Having said that, there's, I can't tell you how many patients that have come talk to me about, hey, I have 5 things that I want to talk to my doctor about. They write it all down. They write all their questions, and then sometimes their doctor gets they show up to their doctor's appointment, and when they ask their doctor all those questions, they say, okay, we can only talk about one thing today. It's like, no, I'm here. You have my time. I should be able to tell you everything that's going on with me. You should be able to answer it right here because I pay that money.
But your average Joe Schmo sees a doctor what? Once a year? Let's say twice. Let's
at
say
a younger age.
At a younger age, let's say you see your doctor twice a year. right? And how long is your appointment? No more than 10 minutes.
Takes you longer to wait.
Yeah, exactly. That's a whole other ass conversation. Don't ask me how long I've sat in a dermatologist's office before.
Oh, God. Yeah.
10 minutes that you see your doctor. So you see that person 20 minutes out of the year. And they're supposed to know you and well enough to help you?
Absolutely. Yeah, they're supposed to. They're the leaders of our healthcare. Like,
that's crazy.
They're at the very top of the chain, and they give orders, essentially, written orders on what they
needs to change
for that patient. Yeah, I agree.
Itself needs to change.
I agree. And, a good thing about our field that maybe some people aren't aware of is that we spend the most time working with our patients in any other healthcare field.
Yeah, and we're one of the most underutilized healthcare practices.
We are.
In the healthcare field. And it's really quite absurd. Now, granted, a lot of people struggle with the cost.
Sure.
A lot of people struggle with referrals and direct access.
Especially nowadays for the cost, and a lot of people don't know about direct access, or they're not in a state that's applicable.
That's true, because direct access is essentially the fact that you can go see any healthcare provider without a referral.
Right.
In the state of North Carolina, barring certain specialties.
Yep.
And barring certain insurances.
Exactly.
Like TRICARE and Medicare. But
the referral for those.
Most commercial insurance patients can come in and see us. And that really is truly a common barrier for folks.
Right.
Is they literally walk in the door, so I'll be back next week after I get my referral. And I have to stop and be like, you don't need a referral. What do you mean I don't need a referral? My doctor said I need a referral. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Why do you need a referral? Right? Yeah, I mean, it can be helpful, but why do you need a referral? Right? And I think that's hard because they see that and they're like, oh, well, I need a referral, and what is this going to cost me? Like $150, $130? Now, some of that's not understanding their insurance plan.
Right.
But some of that's also just the misconception. Right. I mean, and television leads to that too, right? Because anytime I ever see a physical therapist on TV, it's helping somebody walk in parallel bars.
Right.
Every single fucking time.
Every single, like Grey's Anatomy episode or, TV shows, it's always physical therapy with parallel bars.
They're moving somebody's leg, or they're walking in therapy bars, or they're walking behind them while they're in a wheelchair.
Right. And there's so much more that goes into what we do than that.
Yeah, well, and that's why one of these days you and I are going to do an episode in the clinic.
Yes.
Right? And we're going to get our patients involved, and we're going to get them active so that they can see what we're doing and understand that this is what PT is.
Exactly.
Because I get so many people on a daily basis, this is what you guys do. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like, what's our goal? What are we talking about here? What are these episodes that we're going to do? Right? I think we want to touch on stuff, which we've kind of already hammered into it a little bit, but we've touched on stuff where, what's the difference between a chiropractor and a physical therapist? What's dry needling versus acupuncture?
Right.
Obviously, we're going to hit into insurance.
A very big episode. I'm very
that one will be huge.
That.
I mean, and that one's the tough one. So we'll need to get through that. What's cupping?
Yeah.
See that on Michael Phelps.
Yeah, what are those bruises on somebody's back?
How does it help?
In the Olympics. What's that tape?
What
is that for?
Yeah, does it help?
Does it help?
I don't know.
A lot of question marks.
Nutrition. We've got plenty of registered dietitians on our team who are absolutely fantastic. Can't wait to bring them on. But
a lot of people don't know that with their insurance, they can go for free.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's one of the biggest things that we hear probably most of the time is like, oh, I've been trying to lose about 15, 20 pounds. And a lot of times they don't know where to start. They don't know how to go about those actions. They just say, I need to eat better. It's
Correct.
Like, what does that mean? And really, we've been through the nutrition because, it's within our company. We've used our insurance for that. But like, a lot of people are under the misconception that, I have to not drink alcohol. I can't ever eat sugar. Those are the things we're going to be talking about with the nutritionist at some point. And it's going to be very interesting. A lot of people are going to be wowed by some of the things that they can eat and that they can do, that they have access to. That
to be fair, I had no idea I could go see a nutritionist
for
free.
No, I didn't either.
I had no clue.
No
like,
idea.
What? What do you mean? It's free?
Yeah.
Coming in? Now, again, that's certain insurances.
Yeah.
But in certain states.
True.
But,
True.
I mean, so things like that, imaging. What's an X-ray versus an MRI? Do you need one?
Do you need one?
What's a CT scan? What does it show? And is it important?
Exactly.
So stuff like that, one of the topics that's super near and dear to my heart is chronic pain. Right? You know how I feel about chronic pain. That's a huge topic. We're going to get into that. Pain is a personal experience. Nobody can tell you what your pain is.
Right.
Nobody can tell you that you are in pain or out of pain.
No. Everybody's pain is real. It's how they, everybody's body is different. There's signals in the way that the brain perceives it. It's all different, and we can never truly know what a patient is feeling. But We do need to know how it works, though.
And one of the worst phrases in the history of history: no pain, no gain.
Yes.
God, I hate that phrase so much. It's the worst.
It's
the absolute
pros
worst.
and cons to that. There's a level of discomfort. There's a level of struggle that we have to go through. But pain is the body's natural response to something going wrong.
Correct. And
So,
we'll touch on that, right?
Yes,
we'll
we will.
highlight into that.
We'll get deep
And we'll
into
go
that.
into that. I think you wanted to do something. This says, to be fair with you, I still think this is kind of nerdy, but muscle of the week.
I'm telling you,
I still don't know how I feel about it.
It doesn't need to be long. It does, but if we put out some kind of picture out there, discuss what it does and how it can apply to the body, it's like,
I hear what you're saying.
It
makes me feel like I'm in grade school. I don't know what to tell you.
Hey
guys, welcome to the muscle of the week.
Yes,
like you want to put a jingle with it?
Maybe. That would be so fun. I didn't even think of that.
Like, oh boy, Bill Nye the Science Guy. Right? It's, what he used to do. He used to have little shorts, right? And he did a little jingle for the short, right?
I'm going to have to go watch an episode now.
Yeah. See? It's time for Muscle of the Week. But then we also want to get into certain diagnoses, talk about what those are, debunk maybe some of the myths behind them.
Oh, yeah.
The things that go through there.
The possibilities are really endless of what we can do with this podcast. And I think that's what gets us pretty excited every time we talk about it, is like, we have so much content and so many things that we can talk about. It's just sitting down and doing it. And
as long as it doesn't get in the way of football.
True. Yeah. Go Chiefs, by the way.
The Chiefs are going to Your Chiefs do not deserve to be where they are right now.
That's a whole nother podcast.
But we have plenty of people that are going to come on with us. They're going to, be participants in the show. We've got a trove of people that are excited. One of our admin team folks were chatting with me the other day in marketing, and she was like, it blew my mind when you told me that every time I cough or laugh or sneeze, I don't have to pee on myself. She was like, I'm so thrilled for you to talk about that. And I was like, oh, absolutely, we'll talk about that. Because there's no need.
That's abnormal.
Right? Yes. One of my patients yesterday had no idea she had a diastasis, which is a split in the abdomen, right? She had no idea. And I said, this probably came after you had kids.
Yes.
And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah. And it's diagnoses like that people don't even know they have that are probably contributing to some of their pain. Right. And nobody's talking about it. And nobody's talking about it because nobody's assessing it.
And I think, to be fair as well, some of this has only come out just recently. Like, women's health has only come out within maybe the last, 10, 15 years?
Which is a flaw, because it should have been out for a long time.
It should have, exactly. But
right.
I guess we're only becoming aware of it recently. And I think the more education we can provide, the better that people are going to be going to these specialists, taking advantage of that, and really just moving and living better.
Yeah. Now, our goal is to try our best to back some of this up with articles, research that we have.
Right.
Some of this is going to be opinion-based.
Right.
Right?
We're going to be wrong at times, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're going to be wrong. And you know what?
Exactly.
That's fine. I hope that the good people out there come to the comments and tell me how I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So that I can learn. Right?
Absolutely.
I can see what they're saying.
Good fun thing about learning is that I learn something from you just about every other day. It's like, a different exercise, a different little technique. And, that's how...
Yeah, I don't learn anything from you.
You have not said that. That's totally false.
I'm just kidding.
Totally false. I know you've learned something. You used a couple of my exercises. I've seen you.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe those just came from the bank.
Whatever. But no, anyway, we're lifelong learners, right? And we can always be better at every, skill that we have. There's always something to be better at.
You got to be able to set aside your bias and be humbled.
You do.
Day,
Absolutely.
Right? And that's the truth. But yeah, I think there's a lot for us to talk about, a lot of things for us to get into, and I think that this will prove to be, kind of a ride to go through on some of the stuff and the opportunities that we have. We've had people every day. When are you guys releasing this podcast?
Yeah.
When are you going to do this? I'm ready for it. Let's go through it. Let's see. I want to hear it. Let's talk about it.
And to be honest, I've been a little shocked. I didn't know how excited people would be for this.
Because they don't have an avenue for it.
It's true. They don't.
What avenue do you have for healthcare? What avenue do you have to ask people questions, right? And that's what I want people to do. I want people in the comments to ask questions.
Absolutely.
I want them to come to us and say, hey, tell me about this. Talk about this. You guys should put an episode up about this. Yeah. This is something I've always wanted to know more about. Let me know, right? So I think things like that are going to be really important to kind of go through, talk about, hey, listen, maybe we'll drop some barbecue tips, right?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe, I'll drop the dessert tips. I'm a lifelong baker.
Yeah,
but Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to have a good time. I think there's a lot to really go through. As always, like, subscribe, follow, help us reach people, help us understand that, because we want this to go out, we're doing this for fun.
Right.
We're doing this for us.
We're doing it for fun. We're doing it to just reach others and educate people more. I can't say that enough, because one of the favorite parts about my job is educating.
Correct.
I just love that aha moment of, oh, that's why I have pain, or, oh, I don't need to have pain.
That part.
The aha moment is it makes our day every single time that we hear it.
Yeah.
And if we could do that just a little bit more every single day through this podcast, I think and have fun with it.
Yeah.
Try some new things in bourbon.
Oh, we're going to try plenty of new bourbon.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty of new
Plenty
bourbon.
of new things.
But I mean, how many people have we had cry in the clinic,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
A lot.
A lot of people cry just because they feel better. Mm-hmm. Just because they have that moment of, oh my God, I don't have to hurt.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I don't have to give up the things I love.
They've had pain for 15 years, and all of a sudden they come in and we solve it within 1 or 2 sessions. That's not always the case,
absolutely happens, but also doesn't, right? Sometimes it takes a while, but we have had people come in.
Right? Yeah. We've talked about it earlier. Our favorite saying is, it depends, but it's possible. A lot of pain is, there's so many different things that revolve around pain, and sometimes it can't be a quick fix.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's the truth, right? We live in a very impatient society, very impatient world, right? And an instant gratification, if you will.
Yes.
And that instant gratification is hard because, one of my favorite things I tell people all the time is I have people that come to me that have been in pain for 20 years, and they want me to solve it in one visit.
Yeah, that's not always the case.
Listen,
I wish
Linda.
it was. Yeah.
I can help you.
Yes.
I can get you on the road. I can guide you. And a lot of times I might be able to take your pain away. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to solve that problem right away. We may need to work at it and tackle that issue.
It is a process.
And one of the other things, and you and I have had this conversation a lot, is like being a salesman.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Being a PT is being a salesman.
As much as I would hate to admit it,
but I'm not trying to sell you something you don't need.
Correct.
And if I do it appropriately, I'm not trying to sell you something that feels like a con.
Exactly.
Right? I'm trying to sell you something that talks to you about how to take care of yourself. I'm trying to sell you something that's beneficial for you.
Right.
In a way to help you understand why it's beneficial for you. Mm-hmm. And the same thing I tell my patients, listen, I love you, but I don't want you in my clinic if you don't need to be there. No, right? I want you to get better, and I want you to have the tools to take care of yourself, and then I want you to get on the road. And I want you to show the next person how to take those tools, or send them to me if they can't figure it out.
Yes.
But I don't want to keep you in my clinic forever.
No.
That's never the goal.
Absolutely not. The goal is for, at the end of the day, you know how to take care of your body. You know how to solve this, teach others, like you said, and if you can't, you come back and we review things.
We should be a guide, not a crutch.
Absolutely.
No,
I
think that's a really good way to put it.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, a pretty good summarization of what this podcast could be, a guide.
And that's it. It's a guide, not a crutch.
Exactly.
So I think that's fair.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think we're going to have a good time. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to drink responsibly, as everybody should.
Absolutely.
And this is going to be something that is really going to kind of be information. Mm-hmm. It's going to be information, but we're going to have a good time. Absolutely. And we're going to jab at each other.
Yeah. I'm excited.
And I'm going to need you to learn to multitask.
I can do it.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's a whole nother.
How long's that laundry been sitting in your room?
I picked it up today.
You put it up today?
I did.
Hey, I'm proud of you. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, I think this is a good start to the first episode.
Yeah,
I like it. All right, man. Hey, listen, this is Sore Point Strong Drinks. Cheers. We'll catch you on the next episode. Absolutely. And, have a great night.